Yes, sir. Sir. Bismillah Rahmani Rahim. Honorable distinguished guest speaker, respected chair of the session, respected Director General BIISS, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to all of you. On behalf of Bangladesh Institute of International and Strategic Studies, BIISS, may I take this opportunity to welcome you all to today's country lecture on Bangladesh-Bhutan relations, elevating bilateral ties for shared prosperity. Today, we are very much honored to have among us Her Excellency Dasho Karma Hamudorje, Honorable Ambassador, Royal Bhutanese Embassy in Bangladesh, as the distinguished guest speaker of today's program. Dear audience, today's program will begin with a welcome address by Major General Iftikhar Anis, Director General BIISS. Then, Ambassador Mashpi Binte Shams, former Rector Foreign Service Academy, will set the tone of the program. This will be followed by the remarks of today's distinguished guest speaker, Her Excellency Dasho Karma Hamudurje. Thereafter, the floor will be open for discussion and contributions from the distinguished participants. Finally, today's session chair, Professor Mustafizur Rahman, Distinguished Fellow, Center for Policy Dialogue, CPD, will make the concluding remarks. May I now request the chair of the session to kindly commence the program. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Respected guest speaker, Her Excellency Ms. Dashokarma Hamu Dorji, Honorable Ambassador, Royal Bhutanese Embassy in Bangladesh, distinguished moderator, Professor Mustafizur Rahman, distinguished fellow, Center for Policy Dialogue, distinguished panelists, Ambassador Mashpi Binte Shams, former Secretary, East Minister of Foreign Affairs, and former Rector, Foreign Service Academy, esteemed audience, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning. On behalf of Bangladesh Institute of International and Strategic Studies, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to today's country lecture series on Bangladesh-Bhutan relations, elevating bilateral ties for shared prosperity. Ladies and gentlemen, Bangladesh and Bhutan share a deep and enduring friendship rooted in history, goodwill, and mutual respect. Bhutan holds a very special place in the heart of every Bangladeshi, being the first country to recognize Bangladesh's independence on the 6th December 1971. That gesture comes at our most critical moment, laid the foundation for a relationship built on trust and solidarity, a relationship that has only grown stronger over the past 5 decades. Both nations are committed to regional cooperation frameworks such as SARC, BIMSTEC, and BBIN, which offer opportunities for collective progress in South Asia. The past few years have witnessed encouraging development in our relations. The signing of the preferential trade agreement in 2020, giving duty free access to products from both countries, was a significant milestone. Subsequent agreements on transit, inland waterways, and movement of goods have opened new possibilities for regional connectivity. For landlocked Bhutan, access to Bangladeshi seaports like Chittagong and Mongla provides a gateway to the world. For Bangladesh, these agreements promise new avenues for trade, logistics, and growth. Learned participants, in March 2024, both nations signed several important memorandum of understandings, including the establishment of a special economic zone in Kurigram, collaboration in healthcare through a burn and plastic surgery unit in Thimphu, and cooperation on consumer rights protection. Bangladesh's offer to increase medical seats for Bhutanese students and to train Bhutanese foreign services officers reflects our enduring commitment to capacity building and human resource development. These initiatives, taken together, exemplify a growing partnership anchored in shared progress. One of the most promising frontiers lies ahead is energy cooperation, particularly in hydropower trade. Bhutan's immense hydropower potential can play a transformative role in Bangladesh's pursuit of clean and renewable energy. Collaboration in this field will not only meet mutual needs but also contribute to the region's broader climate and sustainability goals. Distinguished guests, while we celebrate our achievements, today's seminar also aims to look forward to identify challenges, explore untapped areas, and design pathways for deeper cooperation. Both Bangladesh and Bhutan are climate vulnerable nations. Joint efforts in disaster management, water resource governance, and environmental protection could offer valuable synergies. Likewise, tourism remains an unexplored area. Joint tourism circuits linking the serene Himalayan landscapes with the Bay of Bengal coastline can serve as unique bridges between two peoples and cultures. People to people connections are indeed the foundation of lasting friendship, strengthening educational exchanges, cultural collaboration, and connectivity through improved air routes and digital linkages will bring our citizens closer, nurturing mutual understanding and shared aspirations. As regional and global dynamics continue to evolve, Bangladesh and Bhutan must leverage their friendship to promote stability and cooperation across South Asia by working together through regional mechanisms such as SARC, BIMSTEC, and BBIN. We can also address our common challenges and advance a vision of collective prosperity. I am confident that the rich discussions of today will produce fresh insights, new ideas, and practical recommendations to guide policymakers, researchers, and stakeholders in shaping the next phase of Bangladesh Bhutan relations. Before I conclude, let me again express my sincere gratitude to our honorable guest speaker, moderator, and panelists, as well as to all participants for being with us today. I hope our dialogue will reaffirm our shared commitment to deepening friendship and cooperation between Bangladesh and Bhutan, two nations united by history, mutual trust, and a common future. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning, uh, Excellencies, dear audience. It's with a lot of gratitude that I accepted this invitation to moderate a session with which I feel deeply connected. And as the Director General has rightly mentioned, Bhutan has a special place in the hearts of Bangladeshis, and he reminded us that on 6th of December 1971, Bhutan was the first country to recognize Bangladesh. We are very happy that we have the Honorable Ambassador with us as our guest speaker, and we'll also look forward to hearing from Ambassador Mashfi bint Shams. But let me, as a point of introduction, remind us that that bilateral relationship in the South Asian region is so important for our country in going forward. You may know that Bhutan has graduated from the group of LDCs in December 2023 as the second LDC in the region after Maldives, which graduated in 2011. So I think that as we wait for our own graduation on 24th of November 2026, I think it will be fit in the fitness of things to also learn from Bhutan as a country which has already graduated, because graduation discourse in Bangladesh, as we all know, is very much in our minds as we stand today. On the other hand, as the Director General has very rightly mentioned, we already have a lot of connectivity with Bhutan in terms of trade, in terms of the investment programs that we are planning, and in terms of people-to-people connectivity. So I think that trade connectivity, investment connectivity, people-to-people connectivity, transport connectivity, all these are so important in terms of deepening our bilateral relationship with Bhutan, and also in the context of regional cooperation, because Bhutan and Bangladesh are not only members of SAARC, we are also members of the BIMSTEC, where also there are a lot of movements going on, a lot of plans, transport connectivity master plan has been formulated. So I think that it has multi-dimensional relationship with us, both on a bilateral context and also on regional multilateral context. So we will be waiting for our special guest, Her Excellency, to deliver her lecture, and we will hear from her. But before that, we have with us our scene-setting presentation by Ambassador Mashfi Bint Shams. She has a long career in diplomacy and very well known in Bangladesh as an institute diplomat, advancing the interest of our country in the regional and global fora. And we will be waiting to hear from her. Ambassador Mashfi, please.
Where's the mic? This one? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your kind words. Today's moderator, Dr. Mustafizur Rahman. Excellency, Chief Guest of today's session, Ambassador of Bhutan to Bangladesh, Director General BIISS, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank BIISS for inviting me to come and talk in today's very important session regarding Bangladesh-Bhutan relations, and the bilateral relations, the challenges and the way forward, shared destiny, and for a shared prosperity. I believe that this is a very timely initiative and a very timely discussion that we will be undertaking today, and we are all eagerly looking forward to listening to Her Excellency, the Ambassador. I have had the very good fortune of working on Bangladesh-Bhutan relations since 2002, when I was Director South Asia, and also later when I became DG South Asia from 2010 to 2013. And I had the very good fortune of coordinating two royal visits in 2012 and 13. I think it was a very rare opportunity for me. And then again later, after returning from Nepal, I had the good opportunity of coordinating Bhutan issues when I was Secretary East in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Bhutan, of course, took a substantive preoccupied me quite a lot, because a lot of activities were being taken up with Bhutan. And in 2021, I had the very good chance to coordinate the visit of the Prime Minister of Bhutan to Bangladesh. And parallel to that, of course, in various SAARC and BIMSTEC related meetings, I had the chance to interact and engage with the Bhutanese colleagues, some of whom became very good friends, and to learn from them. How Bhutan has managed to balance modernity with tradition, balance sustainability with development. This is something that everybody should be able to take note of and to learn. Now, as it has been mentioned twice already, Bhutan occupies a very special place in the hearts of Bangladesh, as they were the first country to recognize us on 6 December 1971. That has immediately set Bhutan apart from the rest of the world, being by coming and standing next to us at such a critical juncture of our history. And over the years, this relationship has developed. Formal diplomatic relations were established in 1973, and resident missions were opened in 1980. But of course, let us not forget that it's not a recent relationship. It dates back millennia. There is proof of that in the sojourn of Atish Dipankara in Bhutan in late 9th century. He was preceded by and followed by many other scholars, pilgrims, monks, traders, travelers, and they helped to lay a solid foundation or relationship between the two countries and on which today's relationship is built upon. With this, given this past, given these past ties, it is no wonder that today Bangladesh and Bhutan share an excellent relationship. This relationship is based on geographical proximity, shared ecosystems, shared river systems, excellent people-to-people contact, excellent political engagement, and a belief that we have a shared destiny, that we need to work together for our prosperity and development. The political leadership between the two countries have always shared great friendship and rapport. The latest example is, of course, the meeting between our Honorable Chief Advisor and the Prime Minister of Bhutan in the sidelines of the UNGA in September 2025. And earlier, in the sidelines of BIMSTEC summit in Bangkok. These have set the tone for a renewed new look at the relationship and established the new frontiers, set the new boundaries of the relationship. Along with that high level engagement, of course, there has many mechanisms have been established which have helped to create, help to build building blocks to these political engagements. The most important of them being, of course, the Foreign Office consultations, the foreign at the level of foreign secretaries. And in these Foreign Office consultations, the two foreign secretaries discuss everything on the agenda, bilateral relations, sub-regional cooperation, regional cooperation, and of course, multilateral cooperation. Bangladesh and Bhutan have commonality of views on most of the issues, the major issues of the global agenda, and we have been collaborating in multiple forums. Together with Foreign Office consultations, another very important platform is the Commerce Secretary level talks. These have been set up to find out ways of identifying synergies in the sector of trade, commerce, investment, and business. And of course, the Commerce Secretary level talks have been very successful with the signing of the PTA, the first PTA that Bangladesh has signed with any country of the world. And this PTA was signed in 2020 and it came into effect in 2022. And right now, the officials of the two countries are working together to make it more effective. And in the area of trade and commerce, of course, the bilateral trade is still far below the potential. It is almost negligible, as many pessimistic business persons point out that the bilateral trade between our two countries is negligible. And the small market of Bhutan does not make it worthwhile to explore things to export or to widen and deepen this trade relationship. However, I believe that the market may be small, but the purchasing capacity of the Bhutanese consumer class is indeed very high. And there are many niche products that we can explore for exporting to Bhutan. And similarly, there are many products from Bhutan, many organic and products, agriculture products or that we can explore for importing from Bhutan, apart from the ones that we are already uh, importing. A very positive role has also been the step forward, has been the setting up of the special economic zone by Bhutan in Kurigram. Hopefully, this will indeed help to not only bring in investment from Bhutan, but it will also lead to the deepening of the trade relations. Another significant step forward, as mentioned by DG, has been the signing of the agreement of the on transport transit between Bangladesh and Bhutan. This agreement gives access to Bhutan to the ports of Bangladesh, Mongla, Paira, Chattogram, for export and import of their products. I believe that the importance of this agreement is not only bilateral. It will hopefully pave the way for greater connectivity in the region and enable us to move ahead in many of the other connectivity related mechanisms that have been signed but are yet to be operationalized. For example, the motor vehicle agreement, BBIN motor vehicle agreement, which was signed in Bhutan in 2015, has remained in limbo. Of course, there are concerns that we all respect, but similarly, there is the BIMSTEC arrangement, the transport and connectivity master plan that has been signed during the last the BIMSTEC summit in Colombo in 2022. And let us not forget the SAARC motor vehicle agreement, which was almost signed during the last SAARC summit in 2014. These mechanisms will enable the region to become better connected, allow better flow of trade and people and trade and goods, and eventually lead to a collective prosperity. Whatever concerns every individual country has regarding the environment, regarding labor costs, regarding security, can be taken into consideration in the subsidiary protocols or can be given concessions. Bangladesh and Bhutan have also been collaborating in the areas of education and human resource development. And of course, in the education sector, we have been welcoming students from Bhutan to study in the MBBS and also engineering and many other sectors. In fact, I share my university with a very prominent Bhutanese architect. I don't know if you know her, Gurung, Pema Gurung. I studied architecture in Buet, and she was 2 years junior to us. She was really a very good architect. Eventually, she became the chief architect of Bhutan. And we are also very proud of the alumni, many of whom have reached the highest levels in Bhutan and have served with distinction in the public service. And I believe that this alumni can be another very strong foundation in strengthening the relationship between our two countries. We need to regularly encourage the alumni to interact with their counterparts in Bangladesh. And we also need to regularly arrange alumni, get-togethers and reunions to enable them to come together. It is in this context that, during the last royal visit, Bangladesh has offered to assist in the setting up of a training academy for Bhutanese diplomats in Thimphu, and also offered to train the Bhutanese diplomats in the Foreign Service Academy here, very close to here, with full scholarship. It's a scheme that is we are already offering to many friendly countries, and I'm happy to say that all of them have been very happy with the experience. So I would invite Her Excellency to encourage her government to send at least one Bhutanese diplomat to Bangladesh. Of course, we should not, whenever we talk of Bangladesh-Bhutan relationship, we always talk of hydropower, import of hydropower from Bhutan, as if that is the only thing in the agenda. Bhutan, with its snow-fed and rain-fed rivers, fast-flowing rivers, has a huge resource in hydropower. And Bangladesh, being always energy starved, has been seeking to collaborate with Bhutan in this regard. But of course, we need to consider that hydropower has a lot of issues along with it. There are issues of environmental concern, ecosystems, ecology, the displacement of people, the disruption of livelihoods. It took me 7 years to live in Nepal for 7 years to understand that any sort of intervention in the river, whether it is run of the river or whether it is storage type of hydropower extraction, it can have a tremendous impact on the locality of the project. So we need to be sensitive to the concerns of Bhutan whenever we approach them for this sort of energy cooperation. Of course, Bhutan has been exporting a substantial amount of energy to India, and we hope that someday Bhutan will be able to extend that to Bangladesh, and Bangladesh, Bhutan, and India will be able to arrive at a trilateral cooperation, which will be a win-win situation and will benefit everybody together.
Thank you.
So just one more minute, sir. And this will, of course, also allow us to look at river water resources management, because the Bhutanese rivers, through the tributaries of the Brahmaputra, contribute about 10 to 13% to our river systems. Finally, of course, I would like to refer to the fact that Bangladesh and Bhutan are now, the world today is becoming more complicated and complex. And as we as we look at new and emerging challenges of climate change, global warming, cybersecurity, new types of security challenges, there is no other option but for countries like Bangladesh and Bhutan to work together and to collaborate. Having been linked in history, we have a shared destiny in the future also. And I look forward to hearing from Her Excellency on how Bhutan is looking at the future collaboration with Bangladesh. I thank you all for your attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Mashfi bint Shams, for reminding us about our common past and also updating us with regard to some of the initiatives that this government and past governments have been taking. and also sharing your very important thoughts on how we can take our relationship forward in the coming days. And you have rightly mentioned the name of Otish Dipankar. I heard that during the recent commotion in Nepal, some of the very rare manuscripts were lost in Kathmandu, which were connected with Otish Dipankar's journey. You have rightly mentioned that we should not be delimited by the potentials of energy cooperation. There are also other cooperation, and some of the initiatives that have been taken will have to be moved forward, like the BBIN motor vehicle agreement. We have signed it in 2015. The protocols were also completed. We know that Bhutan has some concern, but I think through discussion and some special clauses, we can address those. And you have also mentioned about the cultural connectivity, which is also very important. The Bhutanese students who study here, and you have mentioned about the government's plan to set up an academy in Thimphu. All these are very important, and we can put them as recommendations when we sum up. Now, I will request our very distinguished guest speaker, Her Excellency Ms. Dasho Karma Hamu Darji, Honorable Ambassador, Royal Bhutanese Embassy in Bangladesh, as the Director General mentioned, that they have started a lecture series, country specific. So it will be very important to hear from Her Excellency about how she looks at our bilateral relationship and what are the challenges, what are the opportunities to advance it in future. So we very much look forward. And once again, thank you on behalf of the organizers for your time this morning and for sharing your thoughts with us. Thank you, Her Excellency.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Kuzizampo, Director General of the Bangladesh Institute of International and Strategic Studies, Major General Iftikhar Anas, Ambassador Mashfe Binti Shams, Professor, dignitaries, my Bhutanese colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I thank the BIISS for this privilege to represent my country and to participate in this country lecture series with such a distinguished gathering. I know a lot of what I will be saying has also been touched upon by the previous speaker, so I will try and make my presentation quite brief. As I make my address, I will also display some pictures in the background to sync with what I'm saying, and this is just to make the address a little more engaging. The relationship between Bangladesh and Bhutan, I would say, is a case of exemplary bilateral cooperation between two South Asian neighbors. In my address, I will highlight the pivotal moments that have shaped our ties over the 5 decades. I will explore our diplomatic engagements, economic cooperation, high-level interactions and visits, and the institutional mechanisms that have sustained and advanced our partnership. Additionally, I will delve into the wide range of opportunities and prospects for our bilateral relations going forward. As the previous speaker also touched upon, the ties between our people existed long before the formation of our two nations. The fraternal bonds between our two countries commenced at the inception of Bangladesh, marked by His Majesty the Third King's telegram to the acting president of Bangladesh's provisional government, formally recognizing the new nation on 6 December 1971. And as you can see with the former speakers, I have often observed that the Bangladeshis that I meet have always greeted us very warmly, remembering Bhutan being the first country to recognize an independent Bangladesh. Formal diplomatic relations commenced on 12 May 1973, paving the way for structured engagement and collaboration. Since then, we have steadily expanded our diplomatic engagements, leading to the establishment of our resident diplomatic missions, the latest milestone being the inauguration of the newly constructed and exquisitely designed Bangladesh Chancery in Thimphu on the 9th of September this year. And as you can see the theme of the theme of the building is from the Bay of Bengal to the mountains of Bhutan. And this is a picture of the inauguration ceremony where our Prime Minister attended, and the chief guest was Her Royal Highness, the Princess Ilfema Chodin. Economic cooperation began in 1980 with the establishment of formal trade relations. Since then, bilateral trade has grown steadily, with Bangladesh exporting ready-made garments, kitchenware, processed foods, and pharmaceuticals to Bhutan, while Bhutan exports fruits, agro-products, minerals, and boulders to Bangladesh. Today, Bangladesh stands as Bhutan's second largest export destination and the fifth largest source of imports, highlighting its importance as a key trading partner. And I agree with Ambassador when we say that a lot of our potential still remains untapped. To further advance our diplomatic and trade engagements, several institutional platforms have been put in place, which Ambassador also touched upon. The Foreign Office Consultation, which was established in April 2013. Since its inception, numerous rounds of consultation have been successfully held between the two foreign secretaries, discussing and advancing a range of mutual interests such as trade, connectivity, human resource development, and regional cooperation. I'm happy to share that the next FOC is being planned to be held in Dhaka towards the end of the year, reflecting ongoing commitment to maintain regular high-level diplomatic engagement. Similarly, we have another forum, which is the Commerce Secretary level meeting, established in 2008 as a platform to discuss trade promotion and address any other matters pertaining to bilateral trade. These consultations have been critical in advancing negotiations on tariff concessions, resolving non-tariff barriers, and enhancing trade facilitation measures. Again, I'm happy to inform that the 10th CSLM is scheduled to be held in Dhaka very soon, reflecting our continued emphasis on strengthening economic cooperation. And that is the picture of the last CSLM held on April 2024. In 2019, a landmark development in trade facilitation began with the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding on the use of inland waterways for the transportation of bilateral trade and transit cargoes between Bangladesh and Bhutan. This MOU aims to enhance trade efficiency by utilizing riverine transport routes through Bangladesh, significantly reducing cost and transit time. To operationalize this, an SOP was signed in April 2019, identifying key ports such as Narayanganj, Mongla, Chilmari, and others as designated points of call for cargo. And the first maiden cargo was actually using these routes, riverine routes, was of stone aggregates in 2017. We also have the joint group of customs between the two countries as another forum to address custom and cross-border trade issues, facilitate trade between the two countries, and strengthen collaboration. And the last one was held in Bhutan in 2024. These institutional frameworks demonstrate the strategic, structured, and sustained approach Bhutan and Bangladesh have adopted to nurture our bilateral relations beyond ceremonial engagements. Beyond trade and economic cooperation, our bilateral cooperation also extends to human resource development. Since the 1980s, Bhutan has benefited from educational cooperation with Bangladesh, especially in the medical field. Currently, we have over 230 Bhutanese students pursuing MBBS, BDS, and other courses in Bangladesh. And I am sure, as our ambassador also pointed out, of having a very illustrious alumni of this scheme, our former Prime Minister, Dr. Lote Tsering, who is a graduate of the Mayan Singh Medical College. Bhutanese Foreign Service officers also participate in the training conducted by the Bangladesh Foreign Service Academy. And additionally, many medical specialists from Bangladesh have worked in Bhutan and continue to work in Bhutan, underscoring the capacity building dimension of our bilateral cooperation. So that's the picture of some of our Bhutanese students who've come to the Royal Bhutan Embassy to celebrate one of our national days. On December 6, 2020, the 50th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Bangladesh and Bhutan, it was a moment of reflection and aspiration for the future. And we celebrated it with renewed commitments to deepen ties, including discussions on expanding cooperation to emerging sectors such as IT, health, and education. And of course, a very significant milestone of that significant milestone was the signing of the preferential trade agreement with the aim of liberalizing bilateral trade and enhancing transport and transit facilitation. So under this, 100 Bangladeshi products received duty-free access in Bhutan and 34 Bhutanese products received duty-free access in Bangladesh. So discussions are currently underway to include more products in the PTA basket to further enhance trade. And of course, a very recent development has been a discussion between our Prime Minister and the Chief Advisor, Dr. Yunus, on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly to even take this further through a free trade agreement. In March 2023, a notable development was the agreement on the movement of traffic in transit in 2023, facilitating cross-border movement of goods. And as a part of this, a trial run is currently underway, with one container having already reached the Chittagong port in September this year and will be transported onwards to Bhutan by road. Similarly, a trial run will be conducted with a consignment originating from Bhutan, transiting from Bangladesh to another export destination. So the objective of this trial run is clearly to identify and address any operational challenges in cross-border transit. We look forward to leveraging this facility that Bangladesh has so graciously provided us. In 2020, His Majesty the King made a state visit to Bangladesh, reflecting the enduring and warm relationship between the monarchy and people of Bhutan and the people of Bangladesh. The visit reaffirmed shared priorities in sustainable development, regional stability, and enhanced people-to-people exchanges. During the state visit, a very significant development was the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between Bangladesh and Bhutan, signaling the start of the Bhutanese Special Economic Zone at Kurigram, a landmark regional development. Although still at a very initial stage, preliminary groundwork and discussions have commenced. On bilateral and regional engagements, Bhutan and Bangladesh share several commonalities, as has been pointed out by earlier speakers. Both are founding members of SAARC and full members of the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multisectoral, Technical and Economic Cooperation, or BIMSTEC. We also cooperate within the framework of the United Nations and are part of the Climate Vulnerable Forum and other cross-border programs like the Resilient Asia Program, reflecting shared concerns and commitment on climate change, which both countries are extremely vulnerable to. Further, Bhutan and Bangladesh extend support to each other for candidatures to various regional and multilateral institutions. Looking ahead, we continue to explore promising avenues to deepen our cooperation. Bhutan is working to establish a third international internet gateway via Bangladesh, aimed at improving digital connectivity and providing an alternate internet route to strengthen Bhutan's telecommunication resilience and regional integration. Bangladesh's offer of highly competitive rates for the internet gateway underscores the strength of our bilateral relations. As stated earlier, Bhutan is pursuing the development of a special economic zone. This initiative is designed to facilitate investments in manufacturing for both domestic and international markets and bring about a synergistic linkages with Gelfu Mindfulness City, which I will talk about a little more later. The SCZ is expected to create thousands of jobs and foster cross-border industrial cooperation. We seek to leverage this generous offer to foster mutual benefits for both our countries through job creation, boosting significant production and exports, and enhancing livelihoods. Ambassador also touched upon Bhutan's hydropower sector as another area for bilateral cooperation. Here I would like to add that we have a new national energy policy, which was launched actually this year, 2025, which allows for foreign direct investment and encourages public-private partnership in the energy sector. With private sector participation, we believe that this can facilitate the evacuation of power from Bhutan to Bangladesh, leveraging existing networks and facilities. Investing in Bhutan's hydropower will help Bangladesh diversify energy sources while promoting regional trade and energy trade and sustainability. In the tourism sector, an MOU on tourism cooperation was signed between Bangladesh and Bhutan in April 2019 to enhance collaboration in tourism development, promotion, and exchange. Although modest, tourist arrivals from Bangladesh have grown significantly to more than this year itself, up till the mid of this year, the statistics say that 1,500 Bangladeshi tourists have visited Bhutan. It may be informed that Bhutan provides visa on arrival facility and extends a substantial sustainable development fee concession to only 2 countries in the world, Bangladesh being one such country. On the other hand, from Bhutan, every year increasing number of Bhutanese visit Buddhist sites in countries of our neighborhood like India, Nepal, China, and Sri Lanka. Bangladesh, with its ancient Buddhist sites, have deep historical links with Bhutan, has a lot of potential to draw many tourists from Bhutan. In recent times, one of the most important developments in Bhutan is the launch of the Gelfu Mindfulness City, a visionary development project of His Majesty the King that aims to integrate mindfulness, sustainability, cultural integrity, and economic growth with harmonious urban environment. This vision looks at progress as not solely about building a city, advancing technologies, and economic growth, but rather about shaping societies where innovation lies in harmony with humanity, where growth is guided by wisdom, ethics, and care for our environment. Through this, Bhutan hopes to inspire the world that progress is most meaningful when rooted in human values. GMC aspires to build a future that is founded for the betterment and advancement of societies. As close neighbors, we see immense opportunities for collaborating with Bangladesh in GMC as it works to become a key hub, fostering and building shared prosperity in South Asia and creating a model of development that is more equitable, sustainable, and humane. Here, I would like to once again talk about, because this is the most recent development that has occurred in September, the discussion to pursue a free trade agreement. This is indeed a very exciting development with tremendous potential for expanding economic cooperation, increasing access to goods, and lowering costs for the consumers. Such an agreement holds the promise of increased investment and also the spread of technology. Bangladesh and Bhutan relation provides an insight into how smaller states successfully exercise agency in regional diplomacy, balancing relations with larger neighbors while fostering mutually beneficial cooperation, bilateral cooperation. So in closing, I would like to state that this journey from 1971 recognition to a multifaceted partnership today illustrates the possibility of small states shaping their destiny through diplomacy, mutual respect, shared development goals, and serving as a model for constructive state relations. Dhanabad, thank you, Kadinche.
Excellency, thank you so much for that very inspiring and informative uh, presentation. We are very happy to see that you share our common uh, aspiration to deepen our bilateral relationship. And you have mentioned some of the concrete initiatives that our two countries are taking and the initiatives that Bhutan is also taking. Thank you for reminding us of the opportunities that we have. You are very right. We would like to take the PTA to FTA because we know that PTA is very limited in its scope. As you rightly mentioned, 100 goods of ours in Bhutan and 34 goods of Bhutan in Bangladesh getting duty free is a good start, but is not, I would say, uh, what we really expect. We want to broaden and deepen it through FTA. And some of the elements that you have mentioned also could make it to comprehensive economic partnership as well, SEPA type of cooperation, just not delimiting our relationship to an FTA. Because you mentioned about investment in Bangladesh, the Kurigram Special Economic Zone, the religious circuit that we can have in the region. And you have also very rightly mentioned about some of the cross-border, agreements that we have signed recently. Enormous potentialities. If we want to make our products competitive, for example, from the Bhutan side, obviously reducing the transport costs and using our ports, and we are also building the first deep sea port in Matabari, will also be very helpful in terms of Bhutan's export and import with the third countries. So it's very encouraging that Bhutan also takes the same attitude and approach to our bilateral relationship as Bangladesh does. And you have, in the end, mentioned a very important point, which is that even small countries can exercise their agency if they are together. And I think that this is very important. So we can take our leverage our bilateral relationship not only in the context of bilateral issues, but also in regional and multilateral fora as we navigate a very turbulent time in the recent years that we see. So thank you, Excellency, for those thoughts. And you have also mentioned about how His Majesty is promoting the concept of environmentally sustainable future for our countries. We know about the happiness index, and we are also seeing that it is also gaining traction. European Union is coming up with lifestyle index as well. So we have to look at the future from a broader perspective. And coming from Bangladesh, one of the environmentally most vulnerable countries, I think this is very important that we go for energy which is sustainable, which is renewable. And I think our audience may know that Bhutan is one of the very few countries which is carbon negative in the world. So I think that as Bangladesh goes forward and we navigate the global trading system, this carbon issue will become very important. I don't know if you know that the European Union is going to, has already started to impose the carbon border adjustment mechanism taxes, carbon taxes. So if in the production processes of your exports, there is carbon emission, they will calculate it and impose carbon taxes. So in that context, I think what Her Excellency mentioned about the potentials of hydroelectricity import from Bhutan. And I was really very happy to hear that there was this policy change in Bhutan where public-private partnership will be allowed to exploit the hydroelectric potentials of Bhutan. So that is a very great opportunity for us. We have already started importing from Nepal via the Indian grid, 40 megawatt. And if we can also get hydroelectricity from Bhutan using the Indian grid, that will be most cost effective and also will help us to address our trade, carbon neutral trade future of our country. So thank you very much, Your Excellency. I think you have really inspired us through your vision with regard to our bilateral relationship. So now I know and we can see that we have a very distinguished audience before us this morning. And thanks to our BIS colleagues who have helped assemble such a distinguished audience. So we look forward to your point. If you have some recommendations which will help us to advance our bilateral relationship, I think that will be most useful for our deliberation today, because that's the whole purpose. I see also a number of our former ambassadors and others, friends from the media, experts. So I look forward to hear from you. So the floor is open. Yes, please, Ambassador. Please introduce yourself, and then in about two minutes, please.
Thank you, Chair.
Give your point. Yeah.
My name is Shahid. I have worked many years home and abroad, and now I am involved with as an editor of a reputed magazine. Having heard from Her Excellency, and including Madame Mashvi, Ambassador Mashvi, a good number of issues which I think need to be gauged and understood, that how useful these points are both for Bangladesh and Bhutan. As the chair has limited the time, so I will not, prolong my conversation over here. I will ask one question. I don't know. Bhutan is very well known in sports arena, which Bangladesh can benefit in the sports of archery, which has been recognized in Olympics also. And there is a growing interest in Bangladesh, and there should be a more interactive sports engagement between the two countries. I would like the ambassador to respond to it. I'm sure it's working. The second point, I didn't hear from the speakers anything on gross happiness, which Bhutan is very well known. And if Her Excellency could little bit shed some information on what is the status of this gross. Bhutan is well known in the world for this gross happiness. And can this be replicated in Bangladesh, or there is too divergent tangent, which is very difficult to tie up the two, as there is so much of exchanges of the doctors, students, visitors, and everybody enjoys visiting Bhutan, and we know about it. And last but the least, my question is, we have talked about trade and commerce and investment. Can this make Bangladesh and Bhutan a strategic partner to some level, since we are adjacent to two big neighbors? Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador Shahid, for all the 3 points. And I will take another 2, and then I will come back to our podium. Yes, please. Yeah. Mr. Siddiqui.
I got a very interesting news that
Please
Bhutan
introduce yourself.
graduated in 2023,
Yeah.
which was very interesting news because we are the subject is very hot in in our country, whether we should graduate or not. We should learn from Bhutan as well as how to be happy and how to be smart in business and trade. So we have another agreement. We are part of the SAPTA.
Please introduce yourself.
Oh, my name is Amit Siddiqui. I am a trader. So this SAPTA agreement, I know from experience that India and Bangladesh is utilizing this SAPTA agreement, preferential trade agreement, and many products coming into Bangladesh at discounted price tax. So I'm curious to know about the status between Bangladesh and Bhutan, whether we can utilize the SAPTA as well, not only the PTA between Bhutan and Bangladesh. So, because
you mean we are both members of the SAFTA?
Right, exactly.
Yes,
exactly.
yes, yes.
But it is apparently not operative between other countries.
Okay.
That's very interesting. And another important information is that the trial ship transportation of one container from other country to Bhutan and another container from Bhutan to other country through Bangladesh is very interesting. It should be tested further and observed very closely. And but my problem, and another question about the BBN. Primarily, Bhutan was not willing to join. They tried to do, but again they joined in BBN. But I am not very clear about what is the problem. We should discuss the problem why BBN is not properly operative between Bangladesh and Bhutan, maybe Bangladesh and Nepal as well. So these two information I shall solicit from the Professor Mustafiz Bhai and the Her Excellency.
Thank you. Thank you. Her Excellency will mention, will try to respond. Yes, Ambassador, please.
Thank you for giving me the floor. Ambassador Mashvi, thank you for setting the tone, and also the Ambassador of the Royal Embassy of Bhutan. Personally speaking, I visited the site which is now housing the Bhutanese embassy. So I also feel proud when I was the Secretary East. So just I would like to make some contributions, small contributions, like it was said about the BBIN, that Bhutan is yet to ratify the BBIN treaty. Given the status that Bhutan is a landlocked country, I personally think that we may consider, that Bhutan may consider to ratify the treaty. Of course, others have already ratified it. Of course, with some regulation and monitoring, firstly. Second is the trade. We have also limited trade, like 23 million two-way trade, which is not that much. Ambassador Mustafiz was telling about from transition from PTA to FTA. So definitely before that, I think we could focus more on the on identifying the products that could be and increasing the scope and coverage. Like of course we want that Bhutan should also benefit, so we should have more value-added content for the products. Secondly, hydropower energy has been focused. But there are some challenges, like giving India's central role in the regional electricity trade. So definitely we have to take also India on board. And of course, the other lacunae are lack of regional grid interconnectivity, pricing differentials, and also regulatory policies. So of course, we also have to focus on that. And lastly, but not the least, we are aware of the South Asian growth quadrangle, which is not active anymore. But now, afterwards, they have transitioned to SASEC, the South Asia Sub-Regional Economic Cooperation. So I personally feel that it has quite a lot of scope and potential. So we could identify from projects, of course, bilateral based, and then we could focus on those projects, and we could proceed more on those project-based cooperation. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ambassador. That was Ambassador Mahbub, who was our ambassador to China as well. Mahbub, I am not an ambassador. I am mere professor. So a correction. So can we now come to our podium, and Excellency, would you like to address some of these questions, please?
Okay. I think one was a question about uh, archery and whether Bhutan will be happy um, to work with Bangladesh on elevating it. We are more than happy to provide such cooperation here. Archery as a national game in Bhutan is actually a community led kind of activity. All communities, they practice archery and they play archery against each other. So that's why there's a lot of interest and a lot of participation in archery. We also do participate in international events, given that archery is our national game. So if there's interested in archery, I'm sure we can find ways in which they can be cooperation on this game. On the matter related to gross national happiness, whether it can be sort of also replicated in Bangladesh, I think gross national happiness is based on fundamental human values, which is similar across all cultures. So I do not see any reason why there can be research and they can be work done on GNH in Bangladesh. So the institute like BIIS can also be a very good collaborator with the Center for Bhutan Studies and JNH in Bhutan. So, and on JNH, generally, how we operationalize it is we have this framework which consists of 4 pillars, and these are then they have many indicators below, and every I think it's every 3 to 5 years a JNH survey is conducted to see the level of happiness amongst the citizens of the country. So these are some things that can be easily replicated and also customized for the Bangladesh environment and culture. On trade and having, taking it from PTA to FTA, I think I would also like to agree that there's huge potential. And Bangladesh and Bhutan have always worked, although we are not adjacent and we don't share borders, we have managed to work so far in taking our bilateral cooperation forward. So I believe that even with the FTA, there is tremendous potential and we can definitely surmount any kind of difficulties that may exist to take the FTA and really tap into the potential that our two countries have. The other point on SAFTA, Bhutan is a signatory and a member of SAFTA, and we have worked closely to benefit from such institutions. So I feel that these frameworks could help us really tap into the potential which currently we aren't able to do fully. Such frameworks, whether it's the SAFTA, whether it's the FTA, they provide us these platforms that help us take these and tap into these frameworks. On the BIBID that was raised, why Bhutan is not a signatory to the BIBIN. Initially, when BIBIN actually began, Bhutan had committed to becoming a part of the BIBIN. During the course of the actual taking forward the BIBIN, there were many things that the state of readiness for Bhutan was not there. And currently, we are working on trying to get our internal frameworks and our internal structures and infrastructure ready, because as you can see, Bhutan is a very small country where we have a lot of requirements for environment and so on and so forth. So we are working on those state of readiness, and hopefully going forward, we should be able to see something develop there. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Ambassador Mashfi, would you like to respond to some of the questions, please?
Yeah, thank you, sir. BBI growth quadrangle, and actually BBIN is a successor to the growth quadrangle, and there under BBIN there were 4 areas were identified. It was not only the connectivity. We also identified trade promotion, and then water resources management, and hydropower cooperation. So far, I think 4 rounds of meetings have been held under this umbrella. And regarding the BBIN, the motor vehicle agreement, actually it was a split. When the SAARC motor vehicle agreement was not signed in 2014, 4 countries, the BBIN countries, decided to come together and sign it. And there is a lot of misunderstanding. It's not only in Bhutan. There is also a lot of reservation in Nepal itself, because they are afraid that the bigger countries like Bangladesh and India are going to overwhelm their limited resources or their limited infrastructure. But under the protocols that are being negotiated, there is scope to manage. I mean, just because we are signing a motor vehicle agreement doesn't mean that any car or any vehicle will be able to go anywhere. There are identified routes, very strict routes, which will be followed. And there are very strict protocols regarding the weight, the quality of the vehicles, the number of passengers in the buses, or everything is very clearly laid out. So hopefully, and there is also scope to add more restrictions if any country is not comfortable with a particular clause. There is a scope to add more clauses to it. So hopefully Bhutan will come aboard. Ambassador has not ruled it out, and it is ultimately up to every country to decide what's to their benefit, whether landlocked Bhutan will join or not, or who they will decide whether they will benefit from it or not. SASIC is, of course, a very good platform for cooperation, but SASIC, in Bangladesh at least, SASIC suffers from a lack of coordination. It is officially dealt under ERD, but we have felt that not all the stakeholders are always consulted when the SASIC projects are undertaken. So I think to fully benefit from SASIC, we need to enhance the coordination, internal coordination in Bangladesh, and to take all the stakeholders in consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador Mashfi. Yeah, please.
Sorry, I seem to have missed one of the questions that was raised. I didn't touch upon it. It's about hydropower and how we are going to pursue that. And for us in Bhutan, we see hydropower as a very critical resource, and we are very keen to look at the ways our hydropower can provide benefit to Bhutan. And we also know that the government of Bangladesh is keen to invest in hydropower and also to the evacuation of hydropower. And on this, both the the Royal Government of Bhutan as well as the government of Bangladesh are pursuing this with the Indian side. So I believe that this the sector, the hydropower sector, has so much potential. And as I touched upon in my earlier speech, with the change in the energy policy of Bhutan, we are looking to hydropower cooperation and investments from private sector both in Bhutan as well as in India. And that allows us it opens a lot of scope for taking the hydropower sector and the evacuation of power. I feel that there's so much of potential and we can move that forward very quickly.
Thank you, Excellency. I think the last point was also very important. As we know, energy is becoming a binding constraint for Bangladesh. And obviously, you have rightly mentioned about India, because we will need tripartite agreement, because we can't build special transmission lines to evacuate power from Bhutan. We'll have to use the Indian grid and then get it from this side. So tripartite agreement will be very important. Thank you. And that's very encouraging development. With regard to, as Ambassador Mashfi has mentioned about that it was supposed to be a SARC MVA, but then it is a BBIN MVA. And I remember that the last moment, as Ambassador Mashfi mentioned, just to mention about remind us about the complexities. I remember that the question that at the last moment was raised by Pakistan was that if a truck is coming from Lahore to Dhaka via India, and there is an accident for example, in Delhi, which country's law will, adjudicate that dispute? So that was the stumbling point I recall. So the very last moment. But even if we have BBIN, that will be, I think, very important for us. And Ambassador has mentioned about some of the concerns of Bhutan, because Bhutan's main concern is obviously environmental concern. It's a small country, and if there is vehicular movement, they want to control it. But as has been mentioned by Ambassador, that there are ways in which we can restrict, and Ambassador Mashfi also mentioned about that there are clauses which can take care of the concerns of Bhutan. So we are very much hoping that something good will come out of that, because it is so important. If we can have a motor vehicle agreement, it will really add to our competitiveness by reducing the lead time and also the cost, both of which are becoming so important. It's just not cost competitiveness, it's also lead time. And with regard to SAFTA, yes, SAFTA, unfortunately, we don't see any new movement, but let us also remind us ourselves that there is an LDC scheme within the SAFTA under which India provides duty-free, quota-free to all the LDCs. And Bhutan is no longer LDC, but Nepal and Bangladesh and Afghanistan is getting duty-free from India since 2011 under the SAFTA LDC scheme of India. So I think that is also very important for us to remember. Someone was asking why our exports to India is increasing in spite of the non-tariff barriers that have been put. One of the reasons being that the zero tariff provides a competitive advantage, even though the costs have gone up because of the non-tariff barriers. So we'll have to remember those developments and those things. Thank you very much. I think we can take another round. Do we have time? Yes. So yes, please. I will come. Yeah, please. Yeah.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourself and then.
Is it working? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. Thank you very much. This is Salahuddin Ahmed. I am a storytelling volunteer for the dementia patients and trainer for their caregiver. I was a member of Bangladesh Energy Regulatory Commission. I was a faculty banker and also a TV news presenter. In fact, my questions that I thought about have already been raised by Shahid Bhai and others, BBIN and MVA and GNA. So I'll try to limit myself to the comments only. In fact, for becoming the first to recognize a country, being themselves a small one, needs only love and firmness. And this firmness is, in fact, guided probably to recognize us first. So with that firmness, Bhutan can still do something for us, forgetting that they are small. I was, in fact, amazed and encouraged by a single sentence that Honorable Her Excellency mentioned, that their growth is guided by wisdom and ethics. So whether the issues of implementing GNA, if it at all comes here, will be facing difficulties while it is a big question while ours growth are if it is guided by wisdom and ethics. So it will be difficult while they are going to implement this. And it doesn't justify going to another country to learn how we can cleanse our heart, but we can go to them, to a carbon negative friend, how to learn how to turn our air cleaner. And this has already been discussed, and still I'll be, in fact, appealing because His Majesty is still promoting ideas of spreading happiness, turning themselves happy and turning probably others also happier. So we can think of coming closer to think of that as if Bhutan can help us in cleansing our air only, forgetting other things. Thank you very much. Please.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Salahuddin, for sharing your thoughts. The General, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, sir. I'm Jibon Kanaidas. I'm the former Director General of BIISS. Well, it was very fruitful and enriching experience to be here this morning. Presentations have been excellent. Question and answers are also very good, and thank you for handling it so well. Well, back in 1971, December 71, we were undergoing training in a place called Chalsha, and the instructors would tell it's not very far from Bhutan. So on the thick of things, on 6th late morning, one of the instructors said that, Bhutan has recognized Bangladesh. So for the freedom fighters like us, it was simply exhilarating. So recounting that moment, I can only say that it took me 51 years to go to pay a visit to Bhutan. And then it was an ADB funded initiative. It is a beautiful country to go, very nice people, and green country and all these things. But I think only 1,500 Bangladeshis going there. There must be something. I can share my personal experience. So when, landing on that Paro airport is a little tricky. So other airlines are probably not allowed. But we had problems with our baggage. In transferring from one airline to another, we went through one way, the baggage went through another way. And in Bangkok, we didn't have a visa. So it was a whole night's tension. So in that event, something should be done to look into this, overcoming this problem. And regarding the transport, BBIN initiative, you see in Bangladesh, there is I heard 2-3 days back, the Bangladesh government is aiming to have about 30% of the vehicles driven by or electric vehicles. So that way, Nepal and Bhutan can remain assured that the problem would be minimized if we are allowed to travel with electric vehicles. Thank you.
Thank you, General, and thank you also for your contribution to our liberation struggle. Indeed, the PTA was signed on 6th of December 2020 to celebrate the 50 years of our bilateral relationship. Thank you. Ambassador, please.
Thank you very much, moderator, Professor Mustafizur Rahman. Today, actually, I took the floor to remember my very good friend, late Foreign Secretary Yeshe Dorji, who served in Bangladesh, who studied with me at the Fletcher School, worked with me at the UN, and then became Foreign Secretary and passed away. This is number one, because we were very close, best friends. We spent a lot of time in many countries together. But I think what Ambassador Mashfi said and you also pointed out. This is one thing which I think about SARC and other organizations where both Bhutan and Bangladesh are members, that we're always suspicious that whether it will work or not, or whether it's working to its full bloom or full capacity or potential. Actually, we have to give time and be patient, and we have to know a way out of the problem that we are facing in all the organizations, which are mainly paper bound and talk bound. I mean, giving speeches, but if you compare with ASEAN, it's also in Asia, and they have new members also, like Myanmar became a new member, comparatively new. And if you go to Europe, there are other organizations. But why we, wherever we are, South Asians, there are challenges. Do you think there are possibility, because Bhutan believes in peace, they are very happy nation, I learned from Yeshe, and there is a good future ultimately for all these 8 countries that belong to SARC, or the new organizations that we are trying to build up, and you are still hesitating to become a part. Do you think we can overcome that thing? This is my question. And another thing, our freedom fighter general has already spoken about. One of my very good friend, one of the top physicians of Bangladesh, 2 weeks back, with his good friend, not friend, good wife, visited your country and was so happy. He's very well-to-do person and top. He served in Saudi Arabia for a long time. One of the best physician of Bangladesh, my batchmate. He was all praise. He didn't complain about anything, not even about the luggage. But how do you think from 1,500 it can go up to, say, 10,000 a year? Because your country is very, very beautiful. And what I heard, because I became close to your commerce minister when, as the chief coordinator of the first business summit done by FBCCI, I was the chief coordinator in March 2003. Your commerce minister came and stayed 7 to 8 days in Dhaka, and we hosted, FBCCI hosted. At that time, there was another ambassador, your predecessor. Do you think we can also overcome all those things that we discussed regarding business, cultural diplomacy, and become more close, like Europe, even after having 100 years of war between big countries, are now very close. ASEANs are excellent. They're doing very well. Why not us? So for trade, what do you think? How can we overcome? That is a different thing. And politically also, how can we become closer now after all these days? It will become, after a few years, 50 years of this organization, that organization, where both you and us belong. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you very much. Ambassador, Excellency, would you?
Thank you very much for the questions. On the point that was raised by General, how do we increase connectivity, and how do we have leverage with the close relations that we have between Bhutan and Bangladesh to mutually benefit both our countries. In terms of tourism and in terms of connectivity, because we are constrained by geography, the one international airport that we have in Bhutan is located in Paro, which can work only during the day. So it constrains flights for landing in Bhutan. But the opportunity I see is, as I showed you the picture of the artist's depiction of Gelifu Airport. And that airport already has begun the clearing of the land and the drawings and designs, and it's going to be ready by 2029. That's the target of the Gelifu. Once that airport is up and running, I don't see any constraints in terms of the number of flights between Bangladesh and Bhutan, which is currently the main cause of connectivity and people to people moving freely between the two countries. So I am very optimistic that that will actually serve as a, because the intention of the Gyeongju Mindfulness City is also to be an aviation hub in South Asia. So hopefully we'll see many more friends from Bangladesh visiting Bhutan and vice versa. On the matter related to SARC and how do we really make the full ensure that we tap into the full potential of SARC, and I see that that's a question that we are asked many a times by other diplomats as well. Asians, they keep telling us there's so much of potential in SARC, and why is it not moving forward? I personally believe that although at this point of time, we do have a lot of regional tension, I believe that the way forward is, I'm an optimist by nature, and I feel that there is so much of, we consist of almost 1.5 billion people in South Asia. Trade also has not been leveraged. There's so many areas that we can work towards for the mutual benefit of all our people. For SARC to actually really move forward, I think just Bhutan and Bangladesh pushing it forward may be very difficult, because there are 6 other nations that have to also be in sync with us. So we'll have to look at that from that context. And I can only say that I hope that we can move it forward, because there is so much of benefit for all of us in having a SARC that is up and that has all its parts actually functioning well. Of course, there are parts that the South Development Fund and the other institutions within SARC which continue to function, but perhaps we need to move it forward to be able to really help all our citizens of the SARC region. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency, for that explanation and the response. Ambassador Mashfi, would you like to? Yeah.
I think Ambassador has expressed the views very clearly. Of course, I think for SARC to move ahead, we all need to, remove the baggage of history from our minds. And it is actually constrained in that way. And when we talk about the ASEAN countries or the European Union, we all have different historical experiences. The ASEANs were also colonized, the ASEAN countries, but they were colonized by 3 different colonial powers: the French, the British, the Portuguese. And the Europeans were never colonized. They were colonizers themselves. So their experience would be different. But I think we need to learn from the Africa. The Africans are coming together in a big way. And of course, again, there are also different colonizers there. The only thing I believe that the SARC has appealed to the people of this region. We all talk of a SARC identity, and everybody talks of why SARC is not working. If it was not a semi-successful organization, then nobody would bother about whether SARC is functioning or not. So I think that itself is partly success of SARC. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador. Just to follow up on what Her Excellency has mentioned about SARC Development Fund. Although SARC is in hibernation or in CCU, ICU, I don't know, but there are some SARC institutions which are operating. We have to recognize and appreciate that. One of those is SARC Development Fund, which is hosted by Bhutan. And there are a number of projects which are being implemented. So please don't lose hope. We hope that there will be good times coming. Any other? Yes, please. Yes.
Thank you. I'm Ambassador Mizanur Rahman. I would like to pose a question to Her Excellency. Today we are discussing Bangladesh-Bhutan relations, but we know that the relations between two countries also depend on how relations are with other countries in the horizon. So in this regard, I would appreciate if you would just highlight how are the relations of Bhutan with China and India. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador Mizanur Rahman. Yes, please.
Thank you. This is Dr. Nivedita Roy, faculty of Department of Political Science from Jagannath University. And my home district is Kurigram. So I have visited Chilmari port. And during pursuing my PhD in India, I was visited Bhutan, that is full Silong. So northern Bangladesh, particularly from areas like Lalmonirhat, Kurigram, and Panchgor, distance to the Bhutan border or full Silong, it may be 70 to 80 kilometers only. So even after the declaration of the Chilmari port, river port, no visible development has taken place. It's true. So my question to the both authorities of Bangladesh and Bhutan, why has there been a delay in improving trade relations between northern Bangladesh and Bhutan?
Thank you. Thank you very much. A very important question. Yes, Ambassador Mustafiz, please.
Thank you. For the brevity of time, I would not say all these introductory.
Please introduce yourself.
Yes, this is Mustafiz Rahman, the former ambassador. I have two very small questions. My first question is about trade. I would like to know from Her Excellency, if, for example, you want to send a truckload of apples and orange from Bhutan to Bangladesh, what are the challenges that you face transporting from your country to Bangladesh? My second question is again GNH. I know already 2-3 of the participants have asked these questions, but given the origin of GNH with Bhutan, I cannot but stop asking a supplementary question on that. As you know, we have a list prepared periodically on the happiness index. And I see, unfortunately, that the South Asian countries are faring very poorly. Even Bhutan, being the proponent of this concept, still is not doing quite well. And understandably, the Scandinavian countries are always at the top of the list. So what do you think is not going right, and what you and us can do to improve? Because it's not about material gains. We know that it prioritizes well-being, especially mental well-being, over economic growth and economic development. Even then, we are not doing well. So can you reflect on that? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ambassador Mustafiz was our last, he retired as High Commissioner in New Delhi. So this is the last round. So any last question? Yes, please. Our young man. Yes, yes, please. Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Khanduga Shihabur Rahman from Jahangirnagar University. I have one question that ASEAN has balance of power and SAARC doesn't have that much balance of power. So if we think about a relationship between Bhutan and Bangladesh, I think Nepal, Bhutan, and Bangladesh have generally a balance of power rather than India and Pakistan, where we can see in SAARC and BIMSTEC. From BIMSTEC, India is getting more more than other states to some extent. So I think, what do you think? Nepal, Bangladesh, and Bhutan, maybe there can be a trilateral relationship or agreement. Thank you.
Good, and thank you, Shihab. At the back, yeah, I will come. At the back, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Afia Ibnat Shuchi. I'm studying in the Department of International Relations, University of Dhaka. So first of all, Bhutan has been a long-standing partner and one of Bangladesh's most closest friends since Bangladesh independence. And both the countries seem to be very eager to cooperate on human development and environmental issues since Bhutan has achieved tremendous progress in both these sectors. So I was wondering in future if we can work for some joint research and implementation projects to address this human development factor in Bangladesh as well as to progress Bangladesh's stance and implementations regarding environmental issues forward. And I had another concern that due to geographical realities, both Bangladesh and Bhutan are landlocked and they have to rely on some part very much on India for the logistical and connectivity support with each other. So I was wondering that in order to decrease this reliance on India, does both the countries actually see any kind of common platform or partnerships in future? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, please. Yes.
Hello, I'm Shahra Ahmed. I'm doing my BBA in Tourism and Hospitality Management, Dhaka University. Your Excellency, Bhutan is globally admired for its sustainable tourism model. How can we, Bangladesh and Bhutan, collaborate to promote cross-border tourism while maintaining sustainability and cultural integrity? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone? Yes, please. The back. Mahfuz Ashtis. Yes, please.
Assalamu alaikum. I am pursuing MPhil in the Department of History at Jagannath University. I am asking the Bhutanese ambassador.
Your name, please.
I am Tanvir Rahan. To Bangladesh, that Bangladesh is interested in Bhutan electricity, fruits, timbers, and mineral resource, while Bhutan is interested in Bangladesh medicines, textile, food, and consumer goods. What is your opinion on these areas of cooperation?
Thank you very much. Mahfuz.
Just giving an information. So we have a kind of a collaboration with the Center
Mahfuz is Research Director at BIS. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
So we have a kind of cooperation with the Center for Bhutan Studies and GNH. So we in 2023 we had in fact conference in which we invited a scholar from Center for Bhutan Studies. So I think we have a scope to expand our collaboration to in fact conduct a study on GNH in Bangladesh, and later on it can be extended to the BBS, which can in fact do or conduct a bigger study in Bangladesh. So thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Mahfuz. I think that will be very important contribution of this in view of the question that was raised, exploring the possibilities of having our own GNH and gross national happiness index, and also getting the support of our BBS, whether we can quantify. Some of these are very difficult to quantify. You can quantify the gross national income, but it is very difficult to quantify. But there are methodologies now which help us to quantify the happiness index elements. It's just not income, it's environment, it's cultural connectivity, etc. So it's difficult, but methodologically it's possible. So that was the last information and question. And Excellency, your last words.
Thank you for the questions once again. So Ambassador Raman had asked about Bhutan's relationship with the other two countries of China and India. So Bhutan, as you all know, we have The two countries bordering us and with whom we have immediate borders are China and India. And with India, Bhutan has, I'm sure all of you know, we have a very good relation, and they are our largest trading partner, and they have been also very supportive of our development all the way from 1960s till now. With China, we have also a very long border of 477 kilometers. We do not have diplomatic relations with China, but we do engage with China in terms of the border talks. So we've been having frequent and regular border talks to resolve the matter of demarcation of the border. And although we do not have diplomatic relations, we maintain a very cordial and friendly relation with China, which is based on mutual respect and trust. We have also, in terms of going forward, we have a 3-step roadmap to resolve the matter of the border demarcation. So with both India and China, Bhutan has good relations. There was a question that was asked related to what are the challenges of trade when Bhutan exports its goods to Bangladesh. So far, I would say any trading that has to go through another country will have constraints. You would have to expect it. But I would say that despite these constraints, we have managed to resolve a lot of the pain points, and going forward, I would use the indicator of whether our private sector are taking up exports from Bhutan to Bangladesh. And today we have the private sector actually participating. So that means that although there may be a few challenges here and there, they continue to export. So I would like to then assume that trade between Bangladesh and Bhutan is relatively smooth as far as I can see. Someone asked about GNH and whether, although we have GNH, is it going in the right manner, especially related to economic development? The GNH index was used so that we balance all the 4 pillars of the GNH index, which includes socio-economic development, cultural development, as well as environment conservation and good governance. So when we do the survey, we look at the survey as an indicator as to whether our people are genuinely having their well-being is good. That's how I would look at it. So it depends on the way you look at development. If you solely look at per capita and GDP, I would agree that there is a lot for us to do. But all our GNH surveys have shown that generally Bhutanese are happy. So I think we are on the right track as far as trying to measure our development using the GNH index. While GDP is important, we have to balance it with other areas that look after the genuine well-being of an individual. We had a colleague from the university who talked about having a trilateral relationship. I think all our countries have very strong bilateral relations. And in terms of trilateral, wherever there are agendas that require us to come together, I think the countries will move forward with those agendas. So I believe that whether it's climate change or whether it's trade or economic cooperation, I think the demand has to come from the people of those countries for moving forward those agendas. On the colleague from the University of Dhaka on joint research related to environment. We are always open to having research with countries that share the same river systems. We share the same. We are almost in the same, eco-climatic zones. So that will only add to the richness of our research. And it is important that we do this scientific research to push forward the agenda of, climate, ensuring that we have the funds for climate resilience. So I think, again, a colleague from Dhaka University talked about tourism, and I think I've already answered that there is a lot of potential, and it is only about connectivity and, the transit that sometimes can be a little bit of a constraint, and that can be easily resolved, I feel, with once we have the international airport in Gelifu, which will no longer have to depend on daylight. So the other questions were about areas of cooperation, and also in terms of having joint research and development, which is always welcome. And I agree with Professor here about having joint research, especially on GNH, on climate change, with other relevant institutions in Bangladesh. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. Ambassador Mashvi, would you like to share some final thoughts?
Thank you, sir, again. Well, I think the areas of cooperation are actually not only to be limited to trade and GNH and transit. There are many other areas where we can collaborate. Agriculture is one which has not been mentioned at all. Similarly, there could be collaboration, more collaboration in the areas of education and cultural exchange. It may appear that there are many constraints to our collaboration, but when two countries are willing and when two countries have such good understanding, I think it can only develop further and go forward. There was one question about the lack of development in Chilmari. I think, agreements or SOPs and MOUs are signed, and then they take some time to move gain traction. The joint working groups meet, and then there are many nitty-gritties involved in bringing to operationalize those MOUs. I think, once this agreement for the transit transport and the protocol will come into full effect, you will see that Chilmari will be a very vibrant port between Bangladesh and Bhutan. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ambassador Mashvi, for sharing your thoughts with us. And dear audience, excellent, I think, event. I think Major General Iftekhar Anis would be happy to have this insightful discussion that we had this morning, and it's already afternoon. I think the objective of BIS to hold this type of bilateral events on bilateral cooperation, I think is very important. And Her Excellency has presented an excellent elaboration of the various issues, and also she touched on also the challenges that we have and how we can go forward, and some of the new developments which are taking place, of which, although I try to follow the regional events very closely, economic and trade events, but I also didn't know. So thank you, Excellency, for those information and insights. And Ambassador Mashfi, also thank you for sharing your thoughts. You have a long career in the diplomacy, and of course, your insights are very, very important. And also, audience, you have shared many of your thoughts, which are important, and some of the suggestions and recommendations that came out of it. As we have mentioned, we want to take the PTA to FTA, and because we are also thinking about deepening our relationship in tourism, in investment, it can also graduate to a comprehensive economic partnership agreement, bilateral. But our bilateral relationship is situated in the sub-region, in the region, and also in the context of the Greater Southern Asian region, in the context of BIMSTEC. So we should also not lose sight of the big picture in which our bilateral relationship is also situated. But obviously, we try to take advantage of our bilateral relationship. One question was mentioned with regard to Bangladesh, Bhutan, and Nepal, and Excellency, I think, has given a very good response that you see, we have excellent bilateral relationship, and then there will be agenda-specific relationship with other countries as well, and also sub-regional cooperation. This is a world of variable geometry, as we call in the WTO. Variable geometry means that you will have agendas and you will have coalitions. We can't avoid India if we want to resolve our water problem, isn't it? So upper riparian country, lower riparian country. We cannot avoid India if we want to evacuate the hydroelectricity that we are producing in Bhutan and Nepal, and we want to import in Bangladesh. As I said, you will have to use the Indian grid if it has to be imported at a sustainable price. So obviously, issue specific, and agenda specific cooperation arrangements will have to be there. And with regard to some of the other developments that Excellency mentioned, I personally think that following the trade issues over the last 3.5 decades, that the BBIN type of arrangement has enormous opportunities for us. And if we can, have this type of cooperation, we can translate all of us, our comparative advantages into competitive advantage. We can reduce our costs, we can reduce the lead time, and be competitive in the region and in the global market. And this is so important also because of, as I said, beyond 2026 November, when Bangladesh will be graduating, if it is not deferred, which is a discourse currently, it will be a different game. But we can learn from Bhutan, a small country. It has graduated in December 2023. It has taken preparation. When I recall that in 2020, 2021, we were studying how Bhutan is preparing to graduate in December 2023. They said that our 12th five-year plan is our preparation plan. We also have our smooth transition strategy. So we have to give our emphasis on how to implement our STS. So a lot of things to learn from Bhutan also. And with regard to the Global Happiness Index, I think this is very important. We have seen over the, based on our experience of 1.5 decade last, that how good governance, was undermined. And if you undermine good governance, it is also bad economics. We'll have to remember that. So obviously, I think that the elements in the gross national happiness index, good governance, environmental sustainability, cultural upliftment, all these are also good economics. It's just not non-economic issues. You can't really look at them from that perspective. If you are implementing many of the mega projects where we have used Bhutan's boulders and limestone, if it is not implemented with good governance, obviously the cost will go up. So economics and those elements of good governance are also very important as we go forward. So a lot of things to learn from Bhutan. And I'm very grateful that you have also shared your thoughts with us. And as we wrap up, I think that there will be some summary of the discussion, and it will help us in going forward and deepening our bilateral relationship. And also, as we move forward, both of us, to make our LDC graduation sustainable. That is the challenge before both our countries. And there, our deeper bilateral relationship can help us a lot. And this discussion will contribute to that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a small memento exchange ceremony over here. At first, I would like to request our honorable guest speaker to receive a crest and memento from the respected Director General of BIISS.